Welcome to LiveDaf, your online Daf Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem, welcome back to today's Daf Hayomi Maseches TEMURAH Daf. Hey, we begin on Daled Amud Beis, 5 lines from the bottom. An interesting shaila. So, if one violates an Isra, he transgresses a loisase, he's liable to a malchus, right? 39 lashes, and the question is, on account of what? On account of his attempt at achieving this result that he was aiming for? Or is it precisely because he did accomplish, he did achieve that result? Meaning, does it work? Does the law really work in a negative way? Does it take effect? Or does it really not take effect? So why then is he getting punished? Because he tried. He attempted to violate and to affect it in that way. It's a machlokes Abaye and Rava. Okay, so we're 5 lines from the bottom. Omar Abaye. Says Abaye, you're meant to know that kol milsa, in any matter, the Amar Achmana, where the Torah says, Lois Avid, do not proceed, do not do. Im Avid, if he did proceed and try to do it, mehani. Actually, it works in a negative way, but it does take effect. Because otherwise, why is he getting punished? It was a failed attempt. Because if you're going to insist that it does not take effect, it doesn't accomplish, am I lucky? Why is he getting malchus? Rava Amar, no, says Rava. Leimani, of course. There's no success there. It doesn't work. Leimani midi. When the Torah says don't do it, it doesn't work. So why is he getting malchus at all? Because he has violated Hashem's will. It's because of his attempt at doing so. We turn to the next one. Here comes a kasha. So it's a kasha on Rava, who says that the punishment is merely on account of the attempt, even without the accomplishment. Meisvei. So we have this fellow who's the Eines, we discussed yesterday, he was forced to force himself with a woman, and he's meant to marry her and stay married. So he's meant to look after her needs after the crime that he committed. Eines shegirish. Now let's say he does divorce her. So we're meant to know that the pasuk instructs him to marry. V'lo yitiyah leisha. V'lo, to him she will be a wife. Lo yuchal shalcha, he may not send her away, he can't divorce her kol yamav, his entire life. So there's a law on account of separating. And what does the Brisa say? Meisvei. Oynes shegir, if he divorces her, im Yisrael, if he's a Yisrael who can remarry her after divorcing, machzer, and he like it, quickly, marry her back. And he spares himself the malchus. Now, I understand that he hasn't really accomplished fully what he intended on doing, on separating from her, because he's obligated to take her back. Right? Torah says, Lo yichal l'shalcha, right? Kol yamav. So it's not really a proper accomplishment. And that would explain why there's no malchus. He hasn't really achieved his result, his intended result. But according to Rava, that's not about the result, it's about the attempt. There should be malchus here as well. The fact is, he attempted. He divorced her. He tried his best, right? If you're going to go with Rava's approach, once he violates Hashem's will, look, that triggers a malchus. This way, in this case as well, he should get a malchus. True, he hasn't accomplished, but he was trying to give to the Rava. It seems like a kasha on Rava. Amalach. Rava. So Rava will respond as follows. That's not a standard lav. That lav is linked with an assay. So there's that option of correcting the lav. Hence, there's no malchus. Amlach Rava Shani Hasam. There it's very different. The pasuk says, Lo yichal shalcha kol yamav. Kol yamav means it's an ongoing, continuous obligation. Take her back, take her back, take her back. Kol yamav throughout his entire life. Ba'amoid v'hachsir. Get up and take her back. It's a standing obligation. And that's why there's no malchus. Because you have that option of rectifying. It's a lav and itiklas. Ula Abaye. Now, according to Abaye, in any case, there wouldn't be malchus. Because, as we said, he hasn't really accomplished what he attempted on doing. He has to take. So why does the pasuk have to come back and say kol yamav? Why do we have to emphasize the word kol yamav? Ilav the amar rachmana kol yamav, because if not for that expression of I would say, guess what? There's no point in taking her back anymore. Isur hu da'avidle. The fact is, he did the isur by separating. And that's the end of that. He gets his malchus because he did accomplish. There's no obligation to take her back anymore. It's not a standing obligation. It's a one-time opportunity which he squandered. Yisuruhu da'avidle. So he did the Isser. And it's done and over with. Yisuruhu da'avidle. Iboy, if he chooses to take her back, gazantei lihader. Let him take her back. Iboy, if he chooses not to, lihader. He won't take her back. Kamashman comes to the pasuk and says, kol yamav. You have a chiv to take her back. You can't send her away. Kol yamav. It's an ongoing, continuous Isra, meaning even if he should divorce her, quickly take her back. Okay, so we thought we had a kasha on Rav. We say Yisrael separated. He's going to take her back and be spared the malchus. So according to Abaye, we understand, because he hasn't really achieved his result. He has to take her back. He hasn't achieved his intent. But according to Rava, the very fact that he divorced her should be sufficient reason to give a malchus. The answer is it's a lav and itiklas. And even according to Abaye, we need that pasuk as well, because we wouldn't necessarily understand from the simple wording of the pasuk that he has the opportunity to take her back afterwards and spare himself. Lishna Achron, there's a slightly different version where this kasha was actually presented as a kasha on Abaye. Lishna Achron, meisvei kasha oina shagirish, this fellow divorced. Im Yisraelu, if he's a Yisrael, machzer ein aleika. So he remarries her and he spares himself the malchus. If he's a kohen who can't do that anymore, can't marry a divorcee, so now he's liable to malchus. Leika ve'ene machzer. Yes, in any case, what does the Brisa tell us? If he's a Yisrael who can remarry, Maser, so he remarries her, and that spares him from the malchus. So it's a kasha on Abaye now. So you have to the Abaye, who says that when a person attempts an Isser, so even though it's a negative transgression, it works. Okay, so in this case, if it works, so why is he obligated to take her back? And if that's the case, he should get malchus because it's over. It's done and over with. Right? So the Brisa tells you he has to take her back and he's spared from the malchus. Why? He shouldn't have divorced, yeah, but once he did it, it's over. Says the Gemara, Shani Hasan, the Rahman Amar, we have a special pasuk, Kol Yamav, Kol Yamav. So it's not just a one-time Isser, don't divorce. Kol Yamav, it's an ongoing obligation. Even if you're divorced, restore it. Kol Yamav, for the rest of his life, Ba'amoid, V'achzer Koyur. Get up and take her back. You're obligated to redo it, to rectify the divorce. So in this case, it doesn't work. You're obligated to undo it. Now, according to Rava, why do we need this reiteration of Kol Yamav? Well, obviously, you're not supposed to divorce her. You meant to tell her, obviously, you should take her back. Because you're not You haven't accomplished. An Isser cannot accomplish, meaning you can't get yourself out of the chiyuv to be married with her. Just because you divorced her doesn't absolve you. Right? Rabbi holds that that an Isser cannot accomplish. So it can't absolve you from the chiyuv of loy tiyeh leishas because divorced her. Take her back. So why does the pasuk have to reiterate kol yamav? Rav amlocha iloi kas rachmanu kol yamav. The answer is, if not for the words kol yamav avamina, I would say lilki v'lahader. I understand that he has to take her back because you don't have the ability to sever it. You muchayit to take her back, but maybe you get malchus too. To have a lav great because it's an outright lav. The pasuk says, don't send her away. So he violated the Isser, and even though he's obligated to take her back, it doesn't change anything, because the malchus is on account of the attempt. The fact is he tried to separate, which he did. Therefore the pasuk comes back and says, kol yamav. Kol yamav means that there's a special asay to correct what you did. In which case it transforms the whole Isser from a standard love, which generates malchus, to an exceptional type of love, which is called a lav anitik lasei. The lav is given to correction. L'shavi, to relabel, to reclassify, to make. Lo'inus, this oinus fellow, l'lois asei. The lav of the oinus, l'lois asei shenitik lasei. From a standard lav into a lav anitik lasei. Don't divorce, but do take her back. Ain't like in love, in which case there's no malchus. Okay, so bottom line, an oinus is meant to stay married, not divorce. And should he divorce, kol yamav, throughout the rest of his life he's obligated to take her back. We have the halacha that by Yisrael there's no malchus, because it's nitach la'aseh. According by a kohen, there's no option of remarrying, so there's malchus. And we explained the sugya, both according to Abaye and according to Rav. Next question. So a person is meant to earmark the best material. So he has a crop, he's supposed to take the good material and use it as truma. What if he takes the inferior quality material, uses that as truma for the rest? He takes from the bad, aliyaf on the good. The pasuk says he's not meant to kol chelboy. Chelev is the fat, the best. Meant to use the best for truma. Chelboy in growing loy, the best, yeah, but the bad stuff no. But now we have a mishnah that even so works. And you're not meant to do truma from the bad on the good. But if he did, as much as it was not appropriate, truma, it works. It's a kasha on Rava. We see that an Isser can take effect. Amlach Rava responds that it's a special exception, a special pasuk that it works, despite its inappropriateness. Shani Hassam, Rabbi Law, as Rabbi Law teaches us in Law. How do we know that in this case it works? Don't experience sin if you do it inappropriately, from the bad on the good. Rather take the chelev than taking the bad stuff which generates a chet. And now, by the pasuk emphasizing that it's a chet, Torah is telling us that actually it works. As inappropriate as it is, as sinful as it is, but it's going to work. It's going to take effect. The truma will take effect. Because if it doesn't have kedusha, it doesn't take effect. Misius chet lama. Why is it considered a chet and a violation? And Tosfos explains the emphasis on the word chet sounds like it happened. Mikan, so we learn from here. If he takes from the bad on the good, it works. So even according to Rava, this is an exception. But according to Abaye, it's basic, it's simple that it works. Because according to him, any Isser works. So then the question is, according to Abaye, why do we need the special pasuk here? What's the lesson in the special pasuk? Abaye will respond, if not for this expression, the pasuk, I would think, Torah means, it's better. Better, to use the better stuff. That's an enhanced mitzvah. That's an ideal mitzvah. But it's not to say that if you don't, it's an Isser. But if you didn't do it that way, it's not called a sin. Kamashman comes the pasuk and says, guess what? Serious business. Doing Rav ala Yafa, it's not just missing out on the ideal. It's a deficient process and it's a chet. Next question. What about from one type of crop on the other? So you do truma from the figs on the grapes. The pasuk says, Kol chelev yitzar. We call chelev tirosh. So we have the word chelev, the fat, the best, the truma of yitzar, of the oil, and the pasuk continues with chelev tirosh. Likewise, the grapes and the wine. V'dagan. So the repetition of the word chelev is to teach chelev litin chelev lazeh v'chelev lazeh. Torah is applying chelev to each type, meaning a separate truma from each type of material. And I meant to mix and match. Utanan. Nevertheless, we have a mission that it works. You can't take from one type or the other. If you did it, sorry, the mission says it doesn't work. It doesn't even work. That sounds like Rava, rather than Abayi, who says that even in Isser works. Apparently it doesn't work because it's not supposed to be done the way to the Abayi. It's a Kashan Abayi who says that a lav can accomplish. Abayi response. There is an exception. We have a pasuk which specifies, repeats it, and emphasizes that doesn't work. But there we have a pasuk. So it's that same pasuk which continues. It says Rishisam. The beginnings, the separations. Rishisam tells you that each type has to have its own rashis. So because it's repeated in the pasuk, we have chelev, and then Rishisam to tell you rashis, each one has its own truma. And it's binding. So typically a lav can actually happen, but not in this case. Likewise, Rala focus on the word Rishisam to tell you the same point. Rashis lazeh. So according to Abayi, we understand why we need this repetition to emphasize that it doesn't work. According to Rabba, regardless, it wouldn't work. It's a lav. Ula Rabba, so why do we need this special pasuk Rishisam? Ilav, the Amrach one Rishisam, not for Rishisam. I would get confused. I would say, which types need their own separate truma? Look at the pasuk again. Kol chelev yitzar, the chelev of olives, kol chelev tirosh of grapes. So perhaps only those two need their own specific personal truma. But dagan, it doesn't say rashis chelev next to dagan. So perhaps you can mix and match grain with grapes and grain with grain. So if not for the word Rishisam, which tells you, each one is specific and separate and unique, I would say, Tirosh v'Yitzar, those two types, those categories, where it repeats chelev on each one, there I say each one needs its own special truma. There you can't take a truma from one type and the other. But if it's grapes and grain, or grain of this type and grain with the other type, v'dagan. The chad chelev ksibu, which is covered under the one-time chelev. So maybe there I could mix and match different types. If I take truma from one and the other, look, there's no marcus. Rachman Rishisam comes the pasuk and says Rishisam that no, each type is unique and special with its own truma. Litan chelev lazeh, a chelev for this type, chelev lazeh and the other type as well. Mishnachron is another slightly different version here of the response. Ha tirish v'dagan, the chad chelev ksiv b'hu. Tare me'ayahai, as opposed to Dirish v'dagan, where it only has one chelev on both. Some take out all these words because it's really repetition. Tare me'ayahai, because Rachman Rishisam comes back to pasuk Rishisam. No, each type deserves its own truma. Next question, Marich Haram. So here we're speaking where you donated, your property, your belongings to the Kohanim by way of the Chayrim system. Okay? Utanan, the pasuk says, Lo yimacher v'lo yigol, you can't sell, you can't redeem, you give it to the Kohanim. Usnan. And in fact, the Mishnah teaches us that even if you attempt to make a redemption of Pidin, it doesn't work. You're not supposed to. Utanan cher me'kohanim ein poidin oisam. Elo noisin l'koyin. There's only one address, the coin. You can't redeem it. It doesn't work. The Ger says ein lahem pidyon, which means to say, aside from you not being able to do it, it doesn't even work. That's a kasha on Abaye who says that I avad mahani. Amaloi mahani tifta Abaye. Amalach Abaye responds. An exception to the rule. Shani hasam the makru achman kodesh kedoshim. Who the word who tells us about Yasa Yehei, it stays in its status, which means to say no tinkering. You can't be paid. So due to the emphasis in the pasuk, that's why it doesn't work. But otherwise, Yavad Mahani, it would work. Return to Ulu Rava. Now according to Rava, why this emphasis? In any case, you do an Isser, it doesn't work. Hayhu, this word hu Lumuti is coming to teach us on another matter. Lumuti b'chor. It's coming to shed light on the b'chor. To tell us that only a cherem cannot be sold, but a b'chor, firstborn kosher animal given to the kohen, if it gets a mum, the kohen can sell it. So only this one cannot be sold, but the other, the b'chor can be sold. The sound of a price. B'chor nemar le'tepada. So regarding a b'chor, it says lo sifte. Okay, you don't redeem it. So even if it gets a mum, the kohen eats it in his backyard, but you can't sell it. You can't be paid. Sorry, you can't transfer the kedusha. Take the kedusha from the animal, transfer it to money. But he can sell it. V'nimkeru. The kohen can sell it. There's no isser against selling. But by Maser Behemot, the 10th animal, which is designated as a carbon, very similar, but there it's more strict. But Maser Nemar, there it says Lo Yigoel, which takes us a step further. This allows even selling of the Maser Behemot. Can't be sold in any form or any fashion, alive, after shchita, unblemished, blemish. So how do I know that in fact the word Lo Yigoel, this allows even selling? Because we connect it to cherem. Because by cherem it says Lo Yimocher v'lo Yigoel. So we learned that just like by cherem, mechira and geula are sort of in the same breath, synonymous. If you can't do geula, you can't do mechira. If you can't do redemption, you can't do selling. Likewise, by Maser Behemot it says Lo Yigoel. We compare notes and we include mechira as well. So you can't redeem and you can't sell. As opposed to b'chor, where it only says le'sifte, even though in some areas we compare it to Maser Behemot, but not regarding disallowing a sale, the selling of a b'chor. And that's based on the word hu. By cherem it says hu, no selling, but hu, this one, but the other one, the b'chor, can be sold. Next question, Bari TEMURAH. Okay, so here comes a long list of examples of kashas on Abaye and Rava regarding the question of I avad mahani, right? If a person violates an issur, does it accomplish, does it achieve? Or I avad loy mahani, which is Rava's approach. No, it doesn't achieve anything, it's just for the attempt that he's getting hit for. Alright, TEMURAH. Here's another example, TEMURAH, back to home, right? Which is something asur, but it works. Torah warns repeatedly, don't do it. Utana, what does our Mishnah tell us back in Daf Beis? Despite the Isser, it works. Although a person is not allowed to do it, but if he does it, it works. If he does it, it does take effect. In fact, the Kedusha gets applied to the second animal as well, despite the fact that he gets Malchus. Apparently the Kedusha does get activated and it works. That's a kasha on Rava who says when you violate an Isser, you haven't really accomplished anything. Do you have to do Rava? Rava will respond. This is another exception to the list. Shani Asan Makro Vahi Utmarsa Kodesh. Torah emphasizes despite the transgression it works. Vayahu Utmarasa, the original and the kavi will come Kodesh. But otherwise, you're right. An Isser cannot generate any good things. Now, according to Abaye, it's pretty obvious that it accomplishes, because that's his opinion overall. So why does the pasuk have to repeat that it works? Well, Abaye, the answer is Ilada Machmon, if not for this pasuk emphasizing that it does take effect. I would say, yeah, it works, but in a limited sense. It it works exactly exactly the way he wanted it, because he had said, what happened by TEMURAH? He has a na'ilah shlamim and he puts another animal next to him and says, the other one should take the place of this one. So he was really trying to make a swap. So I would think that's what happens, as per his intention. Amina, the original korban gives up its kedusha v'tikanasu, and the second one takes its place. Kamash one comes to pasuk and says, no, it's not as you perceived. The original remains kaddish, and the second one gets latched on as well. So that's the point of the pasuk. Not to teach that it works, but how it works. Next question on the list. Ari b'cher. What about the firstborn kosher animal? Right, we had this a minute ago. The Torah says it should not be redeemed, but tanan. And in fact, we have a Mishnah that it doesn't work because it's inappropriate. It's none. So all other karbanis that got a blemish, ishlam pidyon, what we're saying pidyon, you can redeem them, or their TEMURAH can be redeemed if they got a mum. Except chutz min abchor min amasa, even if they have a mum, you can't redeem them. Apparently, an isser doesn't work. Abayu says that transgression can achieve results. Once again, Abayu responds, here's an exception. Shani Hasan, the Makra, Haim, Pasuk says, like Tifte, Kodesh, Haim means with absoluteness, but us and you, it stays in its status. You can't affect a pidyon. Ulu Rava, Haim, Lamali, so going to Rava. Self understood that you can't do a pidyon if you're not supposed to. So why does the Pasuk have to emphasize the word Haim? For a different halacha, Haim, Craven, you should know that the original Bechor belongs on a Mizbeach, but the TEMURAH and Crave. But the TEMURAH of a Bechor, a person should make a TEMURAH, so although a regular TEMURAH does have Kedusha and etc., but by Bechor it's different. It doesn't have the ability to be offered on the Mizbeach. According to Abaye, this pasuk had already been used for his point, so how does he know this new point that a TEMURAH of a Bechor is not able for the Mizbeach? From a different place. The pasuk by Bechor which says, Im Shor, Im Sel, Hashem Hu. Right? So there's a Bechor of a Shor, it says who, to tell you who Kariv, only the actual original Bechor works as a Karban, but not the TEMURAH, Vein TEMURAH Sekriv. For Rabbi says, yeah, you're right. We can learn the disallowing of the TEMURAH on the Mizbeach from that pasuk as well. Elohim Lamali, so why do we need the other pasuk, the Haim, discussed a minute ago? For a totally different halach. You're right, for a different halach. We made it coming to teach al b'charu master shenis arev daman b'chala olam. Suppose you have blood of b'char or a master. They got mixed into a kli with other bloods of other karbonis. Olam means those are on the way up to the Mizbeach. It doesn't become batal. It doesn't become batal b'roiv. You can still apply them on the Mizbeach and it counts. The blood is still valid. It still retains its unique identity, despite being in a mix with other bloods. Shekrev l'gam Mizbeach. And that's what we learn from Haim. It retains its unique personal identity. In spite of the fact that it's been overwhelmed by so much blood of a different carbon. How does Abaye know this concept that the blood of a carbon is not batal in blood of another carbon from a different source? This is on Yom Kippur. The Kohen Gadol takes from the blood of the par and the sar, mixes it together, and applies them to the corners of the Mizbeach. And the obvious question is, we're talking about way more blood of the par over the sar to become batal by its insignificance. Par, what's bigger, a cow or a goat? Of course a cow. Par, the immense quantity coming from the par is so much greater than the goat's bloods. How do you mix them together? The goat is batal. Nikan, we learn from here, la'olan. Material which is meant for the Mizbeach doesn't lose its ground. She'ein mevatn, they can't nullify each other. The Sani have a brisa, v'lochim dam apar midam asor. He takes a bit of each, not separately. They mix together. Shimurov, they mix together. The Rabbi Yeshua, according to Rabbi Yeshua, they mix together. The fact that they don't nullify each other tells us something about their uniqueness and their ability to hold their ground. But Rava, now Rava could not have learned the halacha from this halacha because he holds that there's no mix at all in that case. He says over there each one is separate. So he puts on the kronis and his back a little bit of this, a little bit of that, separately. In line with Rabbi Yonasan, himself like Rabbi Yonasan, that they're not mixed together. So this halacha is no indication of, lack of bittul in terms of the oilin material. Rather, we have to look for a different source, which is the pasuk haim discussed earlier to tell you that the blood of the carbon holds its ground. Next question. Very meiser. So back to Maser Behema, the 10th animal, which is a carbon, on which the Torah says, there's no selling, there's no redeeming it, it stays as is. Utnan, and in fact we have a Mishnah which corroborates that and tells us how absolute it is. It doesn't work, even if attempted. Utnan yeshleim pidyon milit merasein chutz min abchar namnaser, right? The Mishnah we had earlier. So there's no pidyon concept by Maser. Amalei mani, apparently an Isser doesn't work. It's a Kashan Abayu who says it can't work. Malachsi says, once again, here's an exception. Shani Hasam, the Yalav Avora mi Bechor, we have Gzera Shava. It says the term Avora in both, by Maser and by Bechor. By Maser it says Kol Asher Yavar Tachas HaShavet, by Bechor it says Vavartok B'Tarech, and we compare notes, just like by Bechor. There's no pidyon option, even after the fact, even if it's done. We had the pasuk before Haim, right? The same by Maser Behim. Next question, Varei Magdim. Teruma Bikurim. What if a person goes out of order? He does the Truma before Bikurim, which is out of sequence. Pasuk warns against doing it out of sequence. First comes the Bikurim, then the Truma. And what do we learn about this matter? If he does it, it works. So now we have a Mishnah Magdim Ava B'Shua B'Leisa say. So if he did it even though he violated an Isser, Masha Asa Asa, what's done is done. That's a Kashan Rabu says, not so quick. Oh, Malach Rava, here is an exception to the rule. Shani Hasan Okra, Mikam Asher Shechem Terimu, which tells you in all situations it works even if it's out of order. Not going to Abaye, it's obvious. Of course it works. So why do we need the special pasuk? Well, Abaye, let's need it for something else. It's regarding a discussion that Papa had with Abaye. Rashi brings the whole story there in Mesechas Beya. So what happens like this. Ideally, the farmer should first do the Bikurim, right? Then the Truma Gedola, so it's about 2% to the Kohen, and then afterwards he gives the 10% to the Levi, or turns around and gives part of it to the Kohen as well. But the Truma Gedola has been already addressed on the totality of the granary of the of the whole harvest before the Levi accessed his maceration. What if he switched it around? He decided to give the Levi showed up early, gave the Levi 10% before addressing the Truma Gedola obligation to the Kohen. What happens now? So we learn from the Psukim there that actually, if the Levi comes first, it depends when he came. If he came when it was still in stalk form, Shibalim, wasn't yet a finished product, so he came pre, Truma Gedola activation. So that's it. He gets away with it. He takes his 10% and he's done. He doesn't owe the Kohen 2% of his 10%. But if he shows up once it's been completed, it's already a kri, it's already winnowed, and it's piled nicely, and right. In that case, the Chiv of Truma Gedola is already active. So now, even if he gives the Levi first, the Levi has to turn around and give 2% to the Kohen from his maceration. And Rav Papa asked Abaye, why? Perhaps even if he comes at this late stage in the game, but if he preempts the Kohen to the deal, he should get his maceration free of charge. And Abaye responded, Mikoil maser seichem tarimu. The Torah is instructing the Levi, well, you came a bit too late. Try to chapais the Kohen, that's too late. Now, once the chiv of Truma Gedola is intact, you come, you take a 10%, turn around, give from that 10%, give 2% to the Kohen. Mikoil maser seichem tarimu. So addressing the Levi, from your Meiser, you meant to take Truma in this specific case. Right? If that's the case, that we exempt the Levi from Truma Gedola on his portion of maceration, even if he preceded the Kohen, when it was already a kri, it's already a finished product, Namini Potter should be Potter as well from his Truma Gedola of his maceration. This the pasuk says on your argument, in response to your suggestion, the pasuk says, then in some situations, even a Levi has to tithe truma out of his master and give it to the kohen. Ma rois l'rabbi says akri, uloy says shibon. Why do you prefer? Why do you choose applying this new chiyuv to the kri once it's a finished product, as opposed to shibol when it's still in its stalk form? The answer is marben es akri. It makes sense to apply it to a kri sheyeshna b'chal digun, which is already digun. It's already grain. It's a finished product. So now it's too late to preempt the kohen. U'moitzi es shibol, as opposed to the stalks, I exempt. Sheyeshna b'chal digun, they're not really covered by the digun label. They're not yet a finished grain. In which case, if the Levi came and grabbed his Maser Rishon, that's it. He doesn't have to turn around and give Truma Gedola from his Maser Rishon. So in any case, it covers a different topic discussed over there. Another question. So according to a Rav, an Isser cannot generate results. Varei Alman al-Kohen Gadol. Here's a classic Isser. A Kohen Gadol is not meant to marry a widow. He does. It works, despite the violation involved. The Rachman Amar Almana Grusha Leikach. A Kohen Gadol cannot marry Almana Grusha. It's now we have a Mishnah, and the kedushin takes effect. The marriage is valid. Whenever you have a valid kedushin, despite the violation involved, so the child, the offspring, is not a mamzer, but he is somewhat deficient. The child relates to the deficient, a party involved. It relates to the violator. In this case, is the Kohen Gadol violated, and the child is deficient. Bottom line, the kedushin takes effect despite it being an Isser. It's a kasha on Rav who says no, the Isser would not generate any result. Once again, we have an exception to the rule, because the pasuk teaches us that the kedushin takes effect. The pasuk says, "Be careful, Mr. Kohen Gadol, don't marry an almana v'lo yichal zaroi." So the Torah is calling the child a chalal, a disqualified kohen, but does not give it a very severe a status as a mamzer, which is an offspring generated by a non-kedushin union, like a relative where kedushin is not going to take effect at all. That's a mamzer. Here it's not a mamzer, not as severe. So as deficient as he is, he's just a apostle. He's a chalal. He's a deficient kohen, indicating to us that in fact the parents have an active marriage. The kedushin is chal. Otherwise the child would be a mamzer. Hence we know the kedushin takes effect. Now according to Abaye, why do we need the special pasuk here? Automatically I would know the kedushin takes effect. Every yisur takes effect. La Abaye. The point of the pasuk is not to teach us that the child is a chalal as opposed to a mamzer. Because if it was only to teach us that, the pasuk would just say lo yachel. Don't disqualify the child with one lamed. Why yichalel the two lameds? To teach us echad loy vechad lo. To teach us, number one, loy, the child is a chalal, vechad lo, and also to teach us that the woman now becomes disqualified from further marrying a kohen. So that's the main part of the pasuk, of the message of the pasuk. So the main point is for her, not to teach us about the child. That I would know on my own. Okay, one more kasha for today. The pasuk tells us, you ready to offer a korban? Make sure it's unblemished. You can't, be magdish a blemished animal for a korban. And there's a lav. The Torah warns against it. And loitakrivu, Rashi brings the based on the Gemara later, means loitakdishu. Don't bring close. Don't even designate it. Don't even earmark it as a korban, let alone actually offering it as a korban. Nevertheless, we have a Mishnah that it works. He does it instead of doing a proper korban. He takes a balmum and offers it as a korban. He's magdish l'mizbeach. Even though he violated a lav, whatever he did is done. It's a kasha on Rav who says that it's not done. Malach Rava, here is another exception to the rule. Shani Hasan Makra. There is different. The pasuk says, not acceptable. Which means to say that, it's not a successful carbon, but it is a successful hegdish. Ritzoyhu delay maratza. It doesn't work as a proper carbon if you magdish it, if you makriv it. Hamigdash kachi, but if you made a hegdish of it, so the designation works, even though you're not meant to put it on the mizbeach, and then it wouldn't be a successful carbon. But the hegdish element does take effect. Now, quote Abai, it's obvious that it takes effect. So why do we need a special pasuk? Abai would respond. Abai would say, Eli, idalei, amrachmanu, nedlei rotz. If not for this add-on, the pasuk of I would say, in as much as it's not supposed to do it, but maybe you can bring it as a carbon. Once it's done, bring it up as a carbon. Avamina, kover al mitzvah, but v'kosher. So even though he forfeited a mitzvah, instead of doing a proper carbon, he was magdish balmum. Okay, he was over the mitzvah, but kosher. But the carbon is still kosher. Rashi says, "Avid lahakriv." You can even put it on the mizbeach. Once it's kaddish, put it up there. We'll go into different gears. Kriva. If you did it, it works. Either way, the point of the havamina would be that it can be a valid carbon. Kamash when comes the pasuk says, "Well, it doesn't even work. Even if attempted, the akrava is possible. But the hegdish does take effect. Now, let's just see another little piece here, which is really the flip side of this equation. You see, Torah tells us there are two basic ways to be magdish an animal. You can magdish it as a carbon to mizbeach, dushas haguf, or designated as a donation for the maintenance funds for the treasury, which is kedushas damim. It's monetarily kaddish, not meant to be offered personally as a carbon. Different tracks with different rules. For mizbeach, he meant to do unblemished animals and not blemished animals. To bedek habayis, it's exactly the opposite. You're not meant to take an unblemished animal and send it to bedek habayis. If you have an unblemished animal, send it to mizbeach. A balmum is meant for bedek habayis. Now, if you switch it around, there's an isra. If you take a balmum to the mizbeach, it's asra. If you take a tam to the bedek habayis, it's also asra. Magdish tamim and bedek habayis, the person chooses to take an unblemished animal and donate it to bedek habayis, which is a no-no. The pasuk says, that same pasuk we just quoted, the pasuk says, V'shar v'seh sarov v'kol, so you have a blemished animal, nedavat ha'sa'oisei, turn into a donation to the bedek habayis, or neidelo yiratza, but not as a donation for the mizbeach. So nedavat ha'sa'oisei we learn as zakat bedek habayis, meant to be donated to the bedek habayis, usnan. So basically the pasuk is saying, blemished to the bedek habayis, but not unblemished. A tamim doesn't belong to the bedek habayis, usnan. And we have a Mishnah that says that, look, despite the Isra, it works. Hamagdish Tamim and Bedek Habayis, he chose to take a Tam for Bedek Habayis. Even though he violated a lav, Masha Asasi, it works, it takes effect. Tifta it's like Hashem Rav who says that a lav can never generate results. Malach Rava, so Rava responds, this is the other side of that coin. Malach Rava, the same pasuk that taught us a minute ago, that if you take a balmum and offer it as a carbon from the mizbeach, so although it's not valid with respect to actually bringing it on the mizbeach, but the kedusha is chal, the kedusha gets activated. And that was learned from that diuk, right, that we said before. So on the flip side, if you magdish an inappropriate animal to the bedek habayis, if you take a tam to the bedek habayis, although you're not supposed to, but it works. It's all one and the same package. And it works over there, it works over here. The same pasuk which taught us that balamum to the mizbeach can generate hegdish, nisrabu, tamim, and kabayis. Likewise, the tam to the kabayis also can become kaddish despite its inappropriateness. Because the two things are linked and connected. Two sides of the same equation. So Says Abaye. Rabbi says, Yavad Loi Mahani. Why is he getting Malchus? Avar Amemid Rachmano. What about Oynes? What about Terem Nerol Yafe? What about Minshen Emino? What about Pidyon on the Chermekeyan? What about the Mechira of the Master Behema? The Pidyon on the Bechar? What about Truma the Bikurim? What about Magdish Tmim and Bedek Abayis and Balmum and Mizbeach? We worked it out with Psukim and the Yukim, which accommodated both Abayi's approach and Rava's approach. All the best to you, and Hatzlacha.